Good morning, sweet sisters. I have a lot on my mind today. I've had to kind of calm myself down before I even jump on this video. My main thought today is that we're better than this. We're better than this. What I'm talking about is that those of us in humanity, is we're better than this. What we're watching unfold right before us in this global pandemic is we're watching our systems in crisis. We're watching people go after each other about blaming who's doing what and what's wrong. We're having everybody begin to question each other. On the good news, we have some people coming together. That's wonderful. On the good news is we have some people saying, let's do things differently, and that's exciting too. But every day when I'm picking up the paper, today I'm picking up the paper and there's an article about a nurse's tale inside the New York's crisis, and she says, I feel like we're being sent to slaughter. Unacceptable. Unacceptable on every level. Now, I've worked a lot with healthcare, and I understand the complexity of their systems, and for a long time they've been believing that the way they do things were the way it needed to be done. But as we're watching right now is that there were some short-term thinking that's been impacting us all right now. Unacceptable that someone is going into the workplace feeling like they are being sent to the slaughter. Next article, another tech company trying to find their footing because one of the employees were saying, we don't even have masks and supplies to be able to disinfect our workstations, and yet we're expected to ship this out to everyone else. Unacceptable. Now, the thing is that I worked with a lot of these companies, and I get what they are. I don't think there have been mean, terrible people at the top that have created these things. But what I have watched, the limitation of the way we believe and have been acting as leaders in this command and control kind of style, where we do nothing but think about the bottom line and think about the profit and loss and the shares for the stockholder, is we've lost sight of what's important. I purposely chose this location today for this conversation because I wanted the intersection of the past, the railroad. All the way back to the 1900s. Living with my 100-year-old mother-in-law taught me about the fact that 100 years is not very long. And so much of what we're working with right now, so much of what we're dealing with right now is residue from the past, and it's time to let it go. And I brought it out in here in nature to be able to ground me because I feel very frustrated. We're better than this. I'm hurt. I'm hurt that people are going into the workplaces and they're wondering if they're going to be okay. And the thing is that I'm hurt because I know where the blindness has been. This is part of why I wrote the book for women, is that I don't believe that many men are going to be able to pull us out of this. Several months ago, actually, I found out about something that was happening within the healthcare industry. I found out that in 42 states in this country, you could go in for an operation if you were having something like a hysterectomy or some of these research hospitals. You could go in for a surgery, and then without any knowledge on your part, a class of medical students could come in and do a gynecological exam while you were under. And you would never know that you've had 10 or 20 people examine you. Unacceptable. And I was outraged. I was outraged when I found that out. And in my head, I couldn't put my head around it. In what universe does anyone believe that that's okay? What universe? And I was sharing this with a fellow mom, and she said, Kim, I understand you're angry and you wanna be angry at the men. She goes, but I have to wonder, as a mom of 2 sons, how many women were watching this unfold? Wow, that's a sobering thought, isn't it? And that's what I've begun to realize is the intersection of why have I been so passionate around this issue of women and what they can do in leadership. Why did I write the book, Your Lion Inside? We're watching it right now. It's because women have a propensity to look for the whole. Now, I'm not talking about all men or all women. I'm not about that. But I'm saying the prevailing leadership model has been faulty, and we are living with this right now. And so each one of us that are at the opportunity, I want you, when you're reading the newspaper and when you're listening to the news, I want you to listen to the disrespect. Where is disrespect baked into the system? Where is disrespect baked into the system? For those of you watching, I'd love to be able to see where you're from, so put it there where you're chatting it, what you're from, so I can be able to comment on that. I bring this up because I want you to know how important you are to the larger story. I want you to know how important you are. For too long, I've been meeting people all over the world who find themselves very small. We've been taught to be small. We're not small. We're not small. And I'm heartbroken today because of all the people that I believe that. And I keep talking to leaders who have lost their way. They've lost sight over what's important about taking care of people. I've And when are they is it going to be like it is whenever I'm talking about these exams that we don't even know about that happen sometimes in hospital? When are enough of us going to have the courage to say no more, not on my watch? And so I understand that we're in a lot of uncertainty right now, but please be listening for the disrespect that is baked into the system, because the world is clamoring for people like you and I that find the courage to stand up and say no more, not on my watch. I am not allowing my people to not be taken care of. Cobbletown, Georgia, you're close. Hello, Vanessa. I don't allow this anymore. And so each time, the #1 headline here, stocks and worst quarter in 12 years. You know what? There's a whole lot worse than these stocks. And that's what I keep talking about with these leaders is, do you understand? I get that you're focused on this, but folks, if you don't understand that taking care of your people, Kentucky, and I know how you feel, that's small, and that's what I want to break here, Pam, that's what I want to break. The conversation I have with these leaders is, don't you understand that your people need to know that you care right now, that your people need to know that they are safe somehow, and that you're not going to pull the rug out from under them. I literally have to explain sometimes that, do you understand that the choices you make today are not going to create the loyalty you want? And that I know you think you're saving money today for the stocks, but you're not. Because in another 12 months, 18 months, there's going to be a whole host of unintended consequences of health issues, mental health issues, of workplace violence, of things that we don't even realize, and that people right now, when you're watching. So when I think every day, I'm thinking of people like you, Sheila and Vanessa and Pam, and everybody who is ever on these things. Why I have become bold enough and courageous enough to step up is because I kept hearing these conversations. And I think we're the ones that are going to break it. How many of us does it take to say, not on my watch? Are we looking out for our fellow folks? Are we checking on our mailman? Are we checking on the people who are servicing us? Are we checking on the well-being of our grocery store clerks? You know, my daughter and I, when we were walking through town the other day with all this social distancing, we were saddened and stunned by the fact that when we were social distanced, even at a place like this, that we were, people wouldn't even look at each other. They looked down like we were almost like, oh, we don't want to look at you, we might catch it. Or we looked down, and I've been consciously trying to lift my eyes and say, hello, good morning. I want you to know I see you. I see you. A lot on my heart today. I'm watching, I know these are challenging times, but it is my deepest hope that on the other side of this, we're each going to become more courageous. That this smallness that we've been taught, this smallness that we have been told, that we bust free of that, because we're not small. We're not small. And when each one of us become a little more courageous to be able to say, this isn't happening. Have you thought about, I see you. So much in my mind. Whew, helps me to be out here. I want to know how you're all feeling today. What feeling do you have? Are you feeling concerned? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling hopeful? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling loved? I want you to know that I'm sending love to you. You know, one of the disturbing trends that I have been watching, I'll look for some of your comments there. One of the disturbing trends that I've been watching are the number of public spaces that are closed. I'm watching parks be closed, and state parks and beaches and trails. And I said to someone that I am close to, I said, gosh, I'm sad that they're closing all these. And they were like, can't the people just stay home? And I'm like, do you understand that there are people who don't live in big homes? There's no space. Do you understand that there are people who need escape sometimes from home, even if it's in a open space, so they can keep their sanity during this time? When we think about how this social distancing is rolling out across countries, folks, those of us in the U.S., we have a luxury. We have a luxury that some of us actually have yards to go into. That is not the case sometimes in other countries. And I looked at this person and I wanted to say, don't you understand that not everybody has what we have? So I'm not necessarily declaring them right or wrong, but I'm asking, have we thought about that? Have we thought about that? Mixed emotions from staying positive to being a little teary. I get it. I get it. And I'm not about being solely optimistic without understanding the severity and the sobering reality of what's going on. Every day I think of these nurses and these doctors that are going in, Every day I think about the arrogance that I have watched in systems like healthcare, like government, like academia, like companies. The arrogance of where people think that they have all the answers. If there's one thing that I'm hoping that'll come out of this, I'm hoping that we all walk out of here with a little bit more humility, that maybe the way we've been doing things and the way that we've built things, that there's a better way. That all the progress we've made since the days of railroads, a lot of wonderful progress, being able to communicate with you just like this on the video is a wonderful thing, but it's not the only thing. How do we maintain that balance? We're better than this. So here's the thing that I want to give you heads up on. I've been talking to a lot of leaders in different industries, and I'm watching our cell phones be dropped. I'm watching the utilities be overwhelmed. I'm watching the internet slow down. I'm watching the leaders concerned about what's going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the systems that we've built under our arrogance begin to crumble. And we can react to that one of two ways. We can react to it out of fear and saying, what now? Or we can react to it out of love and hope and say, maybe something better is on the other side of this. Maybe we can figure out how to have a little more humility and come up with solutions that are better for us all. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable that we're asking people to do some of these things. And so my message to us all today is, as we go through this next month or two where we have more time to think about at home, begin to figure out what smallness we need to lay down. There's too much at stake. The only reason I've had the courage to step out, and the reason I even wrote the book Your Lion Inside, and you can go to yourlioninside.com and download all of the things that I've been creating, because I've been creating a lot of free content for people to be able to take. Look at the website I have called The Epicenter of Change. I've known that we're at an intersection point here. And what I realize is that I genuinely believe that hope for humanity is trapped in the hearts of women. I believe that we're going to be the ones, once we find the courage, that are going to be able to start standing up and say, no, this is not happening, not on my watch. Folks, we're out of balance in society. Our companies have lost their way. Many of our leaders have lost their way. So I have faith. I have a very deep faith. I have faith in the divine. I have faith in our collective intelligence. I have faith in humanity, and I have faith in ourselves, and I have faith in myself, because these changes are going to require us to dig deep. So over the next 2 months, few weeks, whatever happens, I want you to know you're not alone. I want you to know that you're not small. That even if you were to find, if you had one thing to bug you, such as the fact that Chick-fil-A still has styrofoam cups, maybe Zaxby's, that maybe there's plastic bags still at a grocery store, maybe we each begin to look up the CEO's address and we send them a note and say, no more. We're not doing this anymore. We're all in this together. We've got to figure out a better way. So that's my message for you today, is there is a better way. So to Sheila and Renessa and Pam and all of you who watch this video now and later, I'm wrapping you off with much love and much light. Know that every time you're reading an article and you're seeing something on TV, ask yourself, is there a better way? And then ask yourself if maybe you're the gateway to find that. Sending you all much love.